What's up YouTube and welcome back to KangBrosTV. We're going to cover Liverpool versus Everton today and the first leg of Liverpool versus Man City. Kang Jr. was away on holiday so we couldn't cover the Man City game. We both watched it of course, so we're going to touch on that today as well. So let's start with Everton 1 as was the latest game, 0-0, and we're just lucky that Everton are shite. That's what I'm going to start with. I mean, what was your take on the game and the overall performance? And is that what you expected from the game?
Which I think to think that that's probably their best 11, give or take, maybe the odd person here or there, the odd person here or there, but that's pretty much where they'd be if they're full strength.
Yeah.
We obviously had to make changes for various different reasons, but I think at the moment that just shows the levels between the two teams. That a patched up 11 from Liverpool's perspective. Well, pretty much, I guess you wouldn't have looked at if that fixture was ended up 2-0 Liverpool, 1-0 Liverpool. You wouldn't look at it and think, do you know what? They got lucky that game. Everton, and that was a fair game. I felt it looked like a fair enough game. Luckily, Everton's finishing is I mean, like you said, it is poor. I mean, some of the chances at the end, you look at it and you're thinking, fuck, you know. I was watching. I was actually obviously because I was away, I was travelling, and I was watching it. At the airport, the other side, and from time that Dutch people, I mean, I was in Holland, and Dutch people were watching that game and commenting in broken English and saying how bad it was, how bad some of the finishing was. I was like, coming from you, man. Do you know what I mean?
Well, the thing is, I think everyone can see, and even in the analysis at the end of the game, everyone said that 70 minutes were pretty much all Liverpool in control of the game. Even Everton players were admitting it. The Everton manager, everything was. And so I think Liverpool were in full control of that game. I think it didn't feel like a normal Merseyside derby. For me personally, my concern was about the second leg with Man City. That was, I think, wasn't just me, because even the challenges, even the tempo of the game, it was very slow. There was no big challenges coming in. There wasn't a single booking. Can you believe that?
Yeah, well, and the other thing was from Everton's perspective, it almost looked like we're happy to not get beat in this game. That's what it felt like to me anyway. If we're happy to not get beat, and if we can get a chance, we take it, fine. But just don't want to get beat, because I think for them, a point there's a good result in the way that the league's set up. Everyone seems to be at the bottom scrapping for their lives, and for Everton, I feel they're obviously safe. But I think to themselves, they're like, if we get a point, whatever. Happy days.
That's
keep it moving type thing.
I think the backup to your point there is the manager, Sam Allardyce. Literally was like, over 2 legs, we've taken this many points of Liverpool, and like you said, they just didn't want to lose the game. And even towards the end of the fixture, you saw the Everton fans were proper pumped up. They wanted to steal something out of it. And like I said, I'll go back to it again. For me, it didn't feel like a normal Merseyside derby. Of course, for me, when I wanted to go in there, I was happy with the 0-0. We can get a point out of that and focus back onto the second leg and hopefully come out of the game with no sort of injuries.
Well, I guess the next thing, what's your overall sense of feeling after that game? Happy, sad?
I'm happy. Like I said, I didn't want to lose the game. As long as we got a point, which was the most important thing for me. So we got a result out of it. I think Klopp touched on that as well. And with the players that we had. I mean, at Everton, Walcott, you're up against Klavan, who's left back.
Who actually hasn't played for quite a while either.
Yeah. But it's essentially, I don't know, it's like you're putting a person who's just solely a centre-back. He cannot really be a left-back. So that's a makeshift left-back. And you haven't caused him any problems throughout the whole game until about the 75th minute, I think.
And I think there's a point you made earlier about the Everton fans towards the end. They're come on.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And for me, when I was watching that, I was thinking to myself, if you lot had a go, I don't know, in the 35th minute, 30th minute, just have a go for let's just have a right go now. You probably that would have been the tempo of the game for a lot of that game, because you've got Kleiny coming back into the side, who hasn't played all season. Klavan playing left back, who's been out, and I think he's been injured, he's been unwell, he's been struggling. Back in the side, Lovren loves to get involved in a fight. I'm looking on the pitch like Solanke's playing, Ings playing. If that's not a team that's there for the taking,
I get what you're saying, but for me, Everton they weren't quick enough, they weren't fit enough to actually even get to the ball. When Liverpool had the ball, they weren't there pressing. Liverpool had the time and they're just playing around. Like even VVD, he literally I'm liking what I'm seeing with VVD, because now he loves to see the pitch in front of him, and he controls and dictates the pace and where the ball goes, which I like. He's very comfortable with that. But I think Everton made it very, very easy for Liverpool as well for the first 70 minutes. And like you said, I think it was his plan to actually try and get a sort of steal a goal at the end. But for you, the actual game itself, like I said, didn't feel like a derby. Was there any sort of stand-up performances for you personally that you thought?
Do you know, funnily enough, I actually quite like the look of Solanke. I mean, I've not really been much of a big admirer of him as such, but I think I saw stuff in that game where I thought, there is something definitely there that you can to work with. Although he wasn't like, there was bits of the game where you think that touch could be better, or I'd want him to be a bit more, be a bit more of a threat in the air when he's up against Jagielka, who seemed to be getting the better of him towards the end of the game. I quite like what I see him. He's 20 years old.
See, the thing is, I'm going to have to disagree with you there. Because I was a fan of Solanke, and I still am. That's a bit harsh. But for me, this was the perfect game for you to make a statement. I know you haven't been given a lot of goes this season.
20 years old.
Yeah,
20 years old.
I know that, right? But from his first touch is appalling.
It
lets him down.
It needs work.
It lets him down. For me, he's almost as if he's always chasing his first touch.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And
I disagree with that.
He's scrambling everywhere because of his first touch.
So you didn't think there was anything there that you thought, oh, do you know what? I like the look of that, or there's work. 20 years old.
No, like I said, I have to disagree with you because I do like him.
Yeah. I think you're wrong, but it's one of those.
Fair enough.
I think you're being harsh because you've been a big fan of him.
Yeah,
and just because he's had a game where he's not hitting the level that you think he should be hitting, you're like, well, nah, not happy. Whereas for me, I've looked at him before and think I'm denied. But I saw somebody yesterday come into a game and I thought, do you know what? He's actually worked hard. He's actually done things that I like the look of. And then, he did tire. And then Jagielka was getting the better of him. Ref didn't really help him at all, actually, either. But I thought, I saw something there. I thought, for a 20-year-old, and then the way Liverpool are playing and the type of setup that they have, he's not going to get loads of runs a game anyway. So you kind of need somebody who is a work in progress. And I think he is that.
Yeah, I'm not denying that he worked hard. He worked very, very hard. But like I said, he had his chance to score a goal as well. What do you think?
That frustrates. It's you've got the whole goal. Yeah. Mo Salah did the same against Palace, and it's difficult to compare him obviously because Mo Salah's had all the experience at 20 years old. I don't know when he's older when he came to Chelsea, but obviously he was nowhere near the finished article. So you look at it in that sense. But it was a shame because he had the whole goal, and although it made it look like a really good save, it was pretty much at.
Exactly.
Where, as a keeper, that's where you'd want it. So
the thing is, don't forget, he is a goal scorer. That's what he's in the team for. Like Mo Salah, he does a lot more than just goal scoring. But you're in there for goals, so you want him to have that instinct kind of thing. So if you put any other sort of striker in that position, you'd put them to have that sort of just to sort of take a step back and actually.
But on the flip side to that, he found himself in that position, right? He's the one that made a nuisance of himself to get himself. I know it fell for him quite kindly, but he's the one that made a nuisance of himself to come in that position. So for me, that's where I would be.
Okay, so the other person I want to touch on is Klein as well. I was so happy that he's back.
Team Klein.
Yeah, Team Klein. He's been a while since he's played, I guess. He took a while to get him back into the team. It was a good one to throw him back in, to be honest, to the derby. But for me, he showed, his intelligence, his knowledge, where his positioning as a player as well. And I didn't think he had a bad game. I think he had a pretty good game. I don't know, do you disagree or do you think he struggled?
So do you know what? Maybe this is because obviously I've always been a massive fan of Kleiny.
Yeah.
And a bit like what you are with Solanke, you've kind of have an expectation. And I just felt yesterday, I was like, during that game, I thought, I'm happy to see him back. I'm happy to see him doing things that we look at and think consistency and we like the look of. But at the same time, I was a bit like, needs work, needs game time, needs this. So it was rusty, and I think there was quite a few things that I saw that I thought rusty. But it's great to see him back, and it's a good time to get him back. And the fact that he's back playing again is the most important thing.
The question is, do you reckon he goes ahead of Trent or nowhere near at the moment? Would you? Is that does that give you sort of worries to pick in terms of team selection?
Well, I wouldn't throw him in against Man City if that's what you're asking me. I wouldn't play him in that game. But then saying that they're 3-0 up, so you'd probably want somebody who's got a bit more defensive nous than actually going forward. But then with that said, we watched Man City, Man United, and watching that game, we were saying, don't get me wrong, Man United won that game. Man City should have been out of sight, but the way that Liverpool attack and play, whether it be 3-0 or whether it be 0-0, you want to have that ability to go and score a goal. So I don't know. I guess that's the reason why the manager gets paid the money that he does. Yeah. Would I be comfortable seeing him there? It wouldn't bother me. I wouldn't look at it and think, oh my God, what are we doing? But at the same time, I'm also of the mindset that Trent E probably deserves to play in this game with the season that he's had. After this game, regardless of the result, would I throw him into the next league game? I would. I think I'd be phasing Carney back in. A lot more because obviously he's into the peak years of his career now, where you expect to be getting the best out of him. So he'll be someone I'd be looking to play as much as possible.
An interesting one is for the massive Firmino fans out there who believe that he can play in any position. Now we love Firmino, we've made it pretty clear, but boy, be no choice. He looked terrible in that position. He's almost playing to the left-hand side, wasn't he? And he's trying to track back. And it was just...
He hasn't got the legs.
He hasn't got those legs. Like, obviously, the way he presses is brilliant. And the angle he presses from is really intelligent.
It's a short, sharp burst, isn't it?
Yeah, so exactly. But
over a longer stretch, I mean, he looked like nothing short of woeful at times. And when he tried to foul, he tried to get clever fouls, and he actually missed Matey because they were so, like, he was gone. I was like, just grab him or something, isn't it? But yeah, he was, listen, again, whenever I've said it before, if players play poorly, and even if they are like people that I really like, and Firmino's one of them, you still got to be honest and say, look, you weren't at the races and he was poor. But yeah, that's my analysis of the situation. I don't want to get too caught up in it, but yeah, he was poor. It was poor.
Big shout out to Karius. What a save! That is a quality save.
That's a world class save.
You've been in goal many times, right? I mean, you tell me about that save.
That's a world class save. World class save. Yeah. Not saying he's a world class goalkeeper, but he has the capability of making a world class save, as do most keepers. At that level, they have the ability to make a save that you look at and think, the difference between a world class goalkeeper and a world class save is De Gea does it consistently, and Loris Karius seems to do it, sporadically. But that is an unbelievable save. When I first saw it, I thought it's going wide. It's not a bad save, but it's going wide. VVD didn't even move, he held his position, didn't move, and then I think even when Matey took the shot, when I looked at the camera shot, VVD kind of looked. I think, hold on a minute, that's got a yard, that's got a chance.
Yeah, that's it.
So there's people in the way. It's curling. It's a brilliant strike, great save. You've got to take your hats off to him. The only thing I would say is, and I know this is going to sound harsh, but Karius has had a good run of games and he's playing better and he's playing well. I don't want people to think that's paved over the cracks and say, we don't need a goalkeeper. We need to. Let's not get baffled and let's not lose sight of where it's been a problem area for us for a number of years. Mignolet's had a run of games and done quite well. Sometimes, we've been through that situation as well. Karius has come in and had a run of games. It's clear that Mignolet isn't going to be in Klopp's plans. I'd say Karius is a very, very good person to have in your squad, and obviously he's proved that he can do it, but we need another goalkeeper, a world-class operator in that position, and I hope people don't lose sight of the fact that that's been a problem area and an Achilles heel for a long time.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think if you're going to have 2 players in a position anyway, get that world-class goalie and have Karius challenging him as well. So, great, like I want to say, everyone digs keepers out for mistakes, stuff like that, but Karius, great save, world-class save. And it's not just Karius, is the main reason behind these clean sheets. I think a big shout out to go to VVD. Now, this guy, I've said it before, every time a ball comes in, is dealt with. And most of the time, 90% of the time, it lands on VVD's head. Now, this guy has, since he's come in, people were questioning about the money, he's not that good yet, where are you sort of positioning him as in terms of defence?
Yeah, he's very, very good. And we said this before, people are like, bringing it back closer to home, but people were saying, why is Coutinho being allowed to leave in January? For the same reason that Virgil van Dijk was brought in January and we didn't wait till the summer, because there is always a bedding in phase. They're always going to take a bit of time. Do I think he's come up to the speed quicker than I thought he would? Absolutely. I think he's got up to speed. Van Dijk's come in and done better than I thought he would. I thought it would take him a lot longer. The fact that now I can't think of, I literally, my heart sinks at the thought of him not playing. I'm thinking, it's going to be problems all over again. And also, I think we appreciate how good he is because we were massive fans of Joel Matip and thought this guy's fantastic. And he's actually, I think I've been proven wrong. I'm not too sure where you stand on this, but I've been proven wrong. Is in that he was the best of a bad bunch, I think. And now we've actually got somebody who is, top bracket or closer to top bracket. And I'm realising that, okay, maybe they aren't as good. And that's why we've been so poor before. So VVD's come in and really put my mind at rest on a lot of things.
And the thing is, all I said to fellow Liverpool fans is imagine him after, a summer, a whole pre-season with Klopp. Imagine what he's going to bring to our team. And he's already hitting some good levels for us, and we're gonna have some good transfers coming in, and with Keita as well. So imagine him with a full pre-season.
Looking positive. Don't want to look too far ahead and get too boosted, but it looks positive. And the fact that he won't be at the World Cup,
bonus,
bit of time off, get himself back nice and early and fit and match ready for next season.
And just to finish up on that game, on the Everton game, is man of the match. Is anyone sort of man of the matches for you?
Well, I think I was struggling, to be honest. At the time, I thought I'm not too sure, but I wouldn't disagree with Gini. I thought he was very good, kept things moving. He was busy. the only other thing is I say this before, and I do it a lot of the time. I say man of the match. I think the man of the match would probably have to be the moment that was the defining match. Would probably the save was Karius' save. So it depends. If you're looking for a man of the match, and if you're going to give it to a striker to play shit and score a goal, and you give him man of the match, then sometimes I think it's only fair to say it's a 0-0 draw. Pickford or Karius made big saves. So Karius. He had the moment of the match, but I'd say overall, I think Gini was.
I have to agree with Sky Sports on that one. I think Gini. I was really happy that he was heavily involved in the game, because a lot of people say that he's a ghost and all this kind of stuff. And going into the game, the second leg with Man City, I actually liked the fact that he was on the ball a lot. So just to build up his confidence a bit more, because trust me, with Henderson not there in the second leg, Gini was going to be needed at some stage. So I'm happy that he got a good game under his belt. So I would agree with that for Man City. So. Just quickly touch on the Champions League. As we said, Kang Jr. here was on vacation, so we couldn't do the video. So quickly on the game, but obviously the second leg is soon approaching. So what was your take on the first game, and what do you think?
Well, funnily enough, as I said, I went to the Netherlands for a break, and at the night of the game, the places that we went to watch the game were everyone's watching the Barca game. And I kicked up a stink, and I was like, change it up. And they're like, what do you mean? Everyone's like, Barca. I said, get the Liverpool game on immediately. So I had to kick up a bit of stink. They done it, watched it, and obviously I was going nuts in the joint. I was literally just jumping about the place in a mad way, because I was watching this game and thinking, this backs up for me something that we spoke about in another video previously. And even though we got battered at their place in the league, and I'm not saying we're going to go there and absolutely dominate or whatnot, all I'm saying is, it makes it very clear as that we've got the better end of the deal when it comes to VVD or the other defenders, Laporte or all these people, even Vincent Kompany. They're not very good on the ball. They're good players, they're good football players, but Liverpool put them under pressure and they made a lot of mistakes. They did the same thing when Liverpool played against them in the game at our place. Maybe it's Anfield, maybe it's the atmosphere, which is unrivaled as far as I'm concerned. Again, even when I was there, everyone was saying how amazing it's like, they could tell obviously that I was a nutter, that was a Liverpool fan, and people were obviously coming up and talking to us afterwards, and they were saying that it's just, one of those places that, I hate it when the team I support goes there, because you almost feel that you're going to lose, you're resigned to losing the game. That's great. But I just felt that the way that the Liverpool pressed them, just accept the fact that they're not that great back there. Put them under pressure. Otamendi isn't, for me, play on him. Play on him.
Yeah, we got a little cousin that always just goes on like his FIFA stats. Now, Otamendi got proven. We said this guy is not that good as you think he is. And it was proven there. He was
clearly, don't get me wrong, clearly he's a good defender.
He's a good defender, but he was putting his arse a number of times in that game, and he made a mistake for the third goal as well. So, like you said there, put it on him. I think that's what Liverpool, for me, is now, like we're touching on here in the second leg, is how do Liverpool go about this second leg? Because I think if Liverpool go through a different tactic, a different way of playing, they will struggle.
They'll lose the game.
Yeah, because they do not know how to play another way yet. And that's what I'm thinking. I think we'll get there slowly, but at the moment, we know one way of playing, we're very good at it. So I personally would still stick at what we do best and play that same way.
So if you get an away goal, the dynamic of the fixture does change.
Yeah.
But equally, I think if you let Man City come onto you, that's like going, any example I could use so many different analogies, but you just don't do it. You don't say to them, right, come on, even when we were defending, and and it was great to see that we were able to still keep the clean sheet to go through. And when watching that game, and literally I was like, I was biting my nails off. I just couldn't handle what was going on. I had to, the tie. I was obviously so engrossed in it, but it was good to that final whistle went, and you literally just sort of, stick a fork in me. Do you know what I mean? It literally was like that. I was like, I'm so done. Like, and I can't, we won't be able to go there and do the same thing. So hopefully we stay, keep it going, and obviously keep the pressing. If we do get an away goal, changes the dynamic of the fixture. But yeah, it's going to be an unbelievable game to come in next week. It was great to watch. What did you think of it? Anything that I've missed on?
I think the big thing there was the atmosphere. Since I've been watching Liverpool, I've never experienced an atmosphere like that. Now, I'm talking some big fixtures that we've seen in our time. You're talking like the Dortmund time we beat Dortmund at Anfield, stuff like that.
That was probably one of the best for me.
For me, that was right up there. But this was just crazy from start to finish. But I think when we talk about atmosphere, we obviously need to talk about the situation before the game actually kicked off. Now, for me, there's one thing intimidating the opposition, which is great. I think we've done that for years and years, where the crowd come on the streets and we literally, banging on the bus or not. But really damaging the coach. I mean, for me, that is just, it makes us look like idiots. Do you know what I mean? Do you agree with that? What do you reckon? Is it too far?
100%. I think, unfortunately, like, there's going to be Liverpool fans out. There's going to be pockets of Liverpool fans out there. They're going to be like, don't really care. You know, it's not my bus type thing, or whatever. They can afford it. Well, they can, and they you know, I'm sure a damaged bus isn't going to be something they're going to be looking at and think, oh, that's ruined everything for the season. It won't be the case. But I think, like, principles wise, you know, and like the morals of it, I think it's ethically just not on, is it? Like, you know, it's just not something that you do, and it's not the type of thing that you'd want that stigma attached to the football club. And obviously, I'm not trying to sound like a snob or anything like that. I'm just saying it's just a shame, you know. Obviously, you know, Liverpool getting that being something that highlights hits the headlines, and not the unbelievable performance, not the way that Ox has taken a ball, driven and stuck it in the top bins, or Salah's, you know, taking a piss out of people. You know, those things get forgotten about. And people talking about, you know, the other stuff. So yeah, I agree with you. It's a bad taste, isn't it?
Now, Hendo is suspended for this game. Now, personally, I'm a big admirer of Hendo in terms of, like I always say, is that he sets the tempo for Liverpool. So I am personally worried about the midfield. I want to put the question out to you: is that, are you worried as I am about the midfield? And do you think that because we've got injuries, we've got Lallana out, we've got Emre out, do you think we've got enough in our midfield now to control this second leg? That is, for me, that's what I'm worried about the most. I'll put it out there.
I think it's going to be the making of a man on that fixture, and it's someone that's really, like, you know, went through a bit of a tough spot, and really seems like they've turned it round. And I'm looking forward to see how the Ox is obviously going to play this game, and I think it'll probably be something like Ox, Gini, and Milner. And I think Ox is probably going to be the game that people are going to be like, yeah, he's come of age. And I think that's that's the way I'd see it. But it's down to him. I think the stage is set. You know, he's done all the other bits of coming into the side and, you know, going through a bit of a tough spell and doing things. But, you know, of late, we're seeing that central midfielder getting the ball, driving and getting shots off. Then again against Everton, you're seeing him now. And I think now is the time. The stage is set for him to just go and take it on. So as far as I'm concerned, I see your point, and Henderson has become good at, you know, keeping it moving, and he's doing it, and you realise that he's there. Milner we need a Millie special, someone who's got the nonce and the know-how of you know, of what's going on, sorry, the now as to what's going to happen. But Ox, I think, is going to be, you know, that's where I see it anyway. I think it's going to be the Ox.
Now, if I was to predict, I would say that we will come through this fixture. I think what Man City need to do is they need to come out as full blazing. I think that suits us, and I'm pretty confident that Liverpool will do it. But if there's any team that can score that many goals and attack us, it's obviously probably Barcelona, and Man City will probably be up there, and maybe even Real Madrid, possibly. So I'm going to put myself on the line there and say that I think Liverpool do come out of this fixture victorious. What do you think? Bruv. Don't be raising your hands, bro. This is where we need the full support.
Listen, I'm obviously going to be backing it 110%. I'll be at it, and, you know, again, like, you know, be buzzing for it and all that sort of stuff. Do I think that we are? Do I think that we're gonna do it? My heart is saying, yeah, like, we'll be able to do it, but my head's saying, yo, you get through 10 minutes unscathed, you're closer to it. But the first 10 minutes of that game would ask me in 10 minutes into that game, and I'll tell you what, because I think after 10 minutes you'll know if it stays 0-0 for 10 minutes, or we get a goal within 10 minutes. Then yeah, I'm happy. I'm a lot more buzzing. But if they score within 10 minutes, there is a problem, and it's going to be a big problem, and it's going to be a wave after wave of relentless attacking, and it's going to feel like they've got 12 players and we've only got 11. So 10 minutes into the game is a big thing for me, and I'm sorry to sound like a pessimist, but if we can get through 10 minutes unscathed or with a goal, then I'm buzzing. I'm thinking, yeah, we can go on and do this. If we don't, then I think we've potentially.
So you see Man City possibly scoring 4?
Yeah. Well, I think they could score they could score more than 4, quite comfortably. So that's why the first 10 minutes, and it's obviously, you know, big games for people like Robbo, who will never have experienced anything like this. Fact, Arnie, they're kids. You know, they're coming into games, they will never have experienced something like this. VVD has played in big games, will never experience this type of atmosphere. Yeah. Millie has. Ox has played in bigger games. He didn't get past the quarter final for Arsenal. So, you know, I'm looking around the teams, I'm thinking, it's now time to stand up and earn your stripes. So
So that's it really. So I mean, the match is only a few days away now. So let us know your opinion on the Everton game. Do you think we were right in terms of what we said about Everton not really being that good? And I'll be happy with that sort of draw and a point. And then really the Man City. Do you guys think that we will go, I guess, come victorious out of the fixture, or do you think we will struggle? And I think, like you said there, I think the first 10 minutes is crucial. But yeah, so let us know your thoughts, and don't forget to like, share, and